Hey, Joe Mastriano, CPA, over 40 years and thousands, literally thousands of successful IRS tax cases representing attorneys, CPAs, doctors, car mechanics, computer programmers, you name it, I've represented that profession. So today I want to talk about, can you pass an IRS tax audit? You see, most people can't, and people's egos get offended because someone might say to themselves upon listening to me, "Oh, well, I have this top notch CPA, or I have this well known attorney that my banker introduced to me, or my family attorney for the last 15 years." What they don't understand is exactly what the IRS requires for evidence. Now, first off, returns should be done paper returns, not e filing, so you can explain items on the return. So, right then and there, if your return was e filed, your preparer did wrong. Now, let me explain to you the other things matching the information. So, did the return separately match each 1099 or W 2 or information report sent to the IRS? Was the return done without pulling a wage and income transcript? That would be another mistake. So, the next thing is once you audit proof the return, you must know how to defend it. And each item on the return has its own separate rules. And a lot of people try to save money in preparation fees, and well, they get in trouble the most going to these tax preparation companies rather than a professional CPA firm or law firm. But in addition to just being told that all you need is your receipts and canceled checks, each item has their own set of rules. And if your preparer is not explaining to you how to defend, and you should ask the preparer, hey, I have this big auto deduction, or I have this huge deduction for some company I've paid overseas, or I have some big entertainment deductions, or my cost of goods sold is pretty high for my industry. There's different levels of proof. You know, you could be a real estate professional, but you don't understand the tests. You know, maybe somebody ran through you, 750 hours and not having a full time job. These things go deeper. Same thing about innocent spouse and injured spouse. They go a lot deeper than what gets passed around as knowledge in these areas. You see, being able to interpret what the rules are versus being able to get through an audit based on how the IRS treats things and their own interpretation can be two different things. So, a smart planner will tell you the level of evidence for those particular large number items that you need to have to defend a return. I see so many returns that are audits waiting to happen. And when people hire me to do an audit defense, I've spent decades helping people in audits. What happens is they're hearing this for the first time. Had they known 3 years ago when it was going on, they would have done what was necessary to have the required backup and the statements from people, the notarized statements and invoices that specifically list things. But that all gets missed. And now the IRS is hiring more people to do audits. I'm not just going from old news. The new news is they're hiring also. And people are just going to get stuck. And if you feel that you can't pass an audit, well, once the return is in and you haven't heard from them, if you want to amend it, I can help you. But in certain cases, it's best to leave it alone. You could do my consultation. I'll go over your return and we can make that decision together if we should leave it alone or amend it. It's like the employee retention credit, the ERC. A lot of people are getting in trouble, and the IRS is giving people a chance to amend it. There's preparer penalties for CPAs that have done it as well. The whole thing can be a big mess. And then that applies, excuse me, that applies to normal tax return audits as well. So if you're being audited, you'd be crazy not to call Stephanie at 713-774-4467 or go to my website, www.taxproblem, one word, taxproblem.org. Fill out the contact form. Stephanie will call you. And we'll talk about what evidence you have. I have some ways to get evidence that people aren't aware of. And you will first be angry that your preparer didn't tell you this stuff. And then, I'll make you happy, telling you how you can get the evidence to cover those gaps. And then we will win as much as can be won by anybody. I don't know anybody that would do a better job audit representing you than I would. Call Stephanie, 713-774-4467. Thank you.